All right, I have a really inspirational story to share with everyone. Really a story about overcoming and utilizing some cool new medical advancements to solve some problems and avoid surgery. So it turns out athletes, whether weekend warriors or teenagers, we know injuries are super common. And it turns out a stress fracture in one of the bones in the back, it's called a spondylolysis, is super common. Like 5–6% of teenage athletes get this. And the good news is most teenagers heal well and we live good lives with this. But for some people, this stress fracture, a break in the bones of the back, actually continues to cause long-term problems, either pain or instability, where the bones in the back start to slip back and forth. And so for some people, that can really cause nerve damage or put them out of the game. And it is a pretty common cause for surgery for people who have stress fractures when they're young, and then they get a little older down the road. And so Matteo was somebody I knew very well, cared for his family and knew them well, and a very high-level diver in high school. And like, this is what he was about. And unfortunately had a stress fracture, actually 2 stress fractures in his back, and started to then get damage to the disc. And it was really just putting him out of the game completely. And so this is a side view of his MRI scan looking into his low back or his lumbar, and this is an X-ray. And in the back, we can see the vertebrae are stacked one on top of the other, and the discs are the cushions between. And so the vertebra actually goes from here to here. So there's this little bridge of bone that's a weak area, and people can break across that. And so he actually had a break at L4 and a break at L5. You can actually see the gap there. And over time, not only are those causing him pain, but he's starting to get some damage to this bottom disc. And that's what we can see on the MRI now. It's easier to see discs on the MRI. These are normal discs, but this bottom disc, we see it's starting to be affected. It's a darker color. It's starting to wear out. And ultimately it came down, nothing worked. And so it was a decision of should he have a surgery to fuse his back, but then even if you fuse this one, what is the effect on the stress fracture above? Really a hard decision for the patient and his family. And I even suggested, hey, I think like shooting for, Division I diving, scholarship is probably, not something we're going to be able to do. And they would not accept that. They would not hear no. This was what he was about and everything he had worked toward. And so we decided to try something really proactive to try and control his pain and get him in the game. And so instead of surgery, we did a concentrated bone marrow injection. And in the lay public, they say stem cells, but essentially bone marrow taking out of the hip bone using a needle. And then that's spun in a centrifuge to concentrate what we call mesenchymal stem cells. Those are your body's own cells that are already on the path to becoming like orthopedic tissue, like bone or muscle or cartilage. And there's also really strong growth factors in there that are involved in the healing response. And so we actually took these, and we can see we actually injected those with needles into the 2 stress fractures, and a needle, we injected that, filling in the disc, filling in the cracks and tears in the disc. And then ultimately, that stimulates the body's natural healing response to occur. And thankfully, he's done amazing, so well, in fact, that he was able to actually, after months of being careful and healing and rehabbing, being very dedicated, but he was able to get back and actually dive his senior year. And then able to go in and is diving at the D1 level and has been sharing his videos, and he's all over social media, and it's just been a tremendous success story. And so I love this because it really shows not only a family and a patient's like refusal to accept or to compromise or to accept giving up on their dreams, but also then being able to use new, really cool advancements in the medical space to help people overcome this and really to achieve, athletics and performance at the highest levels that humans can. So really awesome.